All right. So good morning, everybody. We are live for our pre-market analysis. Everyone tuning in on YouTube, thanks for tuning in and smash that subscribe button and let's get started. So today we've got a lot of opportunities just like yesterday. No time to waste. So let's kick it right off. S&P 500 gapping up right now. And yesterday we had, I think we actually made new highs yesterday on the S&P 500. Yes, we did. And guess what? Today we're gapping up into all-time highs. So watch the S&P 500. Sometimes you don't have to look very far to find solid opportunities. The S&P 500, if it wants to rip up some more, guess what? We can buy 386 calls. If we see a reversal and if it breaks the 385 level, 384.70, and if there's sell-off in the market, we can go for 384 puts or 385 puts. So that's an easy idea. I always want to give some easy ideas, especially when it comes to the ETFs, because that's pretty easy money you can make, and the contracts are really cheap to trade. So watch the S&P 500. One name that I'm watching very closely, that's going to be on my A list, is Tesla. Tesla reports earnings this Thursday. So yesterday it had a monster day, and yesterday I called to go long Tesla when it broke above 857, 858 range, ripped up to over $900, but then the market sold off, traded down to 840 range, and it's reclaimed pretty much that entire rally. So the way I see it is this: if Tesla breaks the pre-market high, get some $900 calls, and this thing might just test that all-time high. If Tesla sells off and breaks below 887 range, we might see some pullback and maybe a reversal on it. So just watch for those two opportunities, right, on the upside and the downside. I'm going to also watch AMD very closely. AMD reports earnings this afternoon. What tends to happen is that these stocks get bought up prior to earnings. AMD all-time highs is not too far from where it's currently at right now. All-time highs was like almost at $100, but I'm gonna watch it very closely because if it gets bought up today, I think we can have some more upside on it. Right now it's flagging, so if it breaks that high, you can go long, maybe 95, 96 calls. If it breaks below 94.90, you can short it or just leave it alone, wait for a reversal to kick in, right? Same thing with Microsoft. So Microsoft reports earnings this afternoon, and if I'm not mistaken, all-time highs on this is not too far off. It's at 232.86. We're less than $1 away from all-time highs on Microsoft. So Microsoft is going to be in play today, and it's flagging. So if it breaks above 232, like 30 range, you can go long. Put your stops on the bottom of this 5-minute flag right here, which is about 231.90. If you want to give it a little bit more room, maybe you can give it to the 20 MA, which is at 231.50. But keep your stops tight today. Let's just play that momentum. All right. So AMD, Microsoft are in play today. They report earnings this afternoon. I'm not going to say it now for our folks on YouTube, but later today, I'm going to announce how I plan to trade them into earnings. So I am going to be taking a trade into earnings on these two, and I'll explain that a little later. Another name that I like is DraftKings. So DraftKings, there was some news this morning. Price target upgrade, $65. I like it. It's in play. It's flagging. So if it breaks above 53.80 range, you can go long. And you'd have to put your stops about 53.26. So you're talking about a 60-cent risk on this trade. Watch DraftKings pretty closely. OSTK. So, OSTK is a stock that is gapping up here. And let me see here. Where was my news on OSTK? Sorry, there's just so many.
It will be converting Medici Ventures to a limited partnership.
Yeah, there was something else on it. Anyways, I can't find it. I'll just let it go. Anyways, it's gapping up pretty nicely, 10 points. So if it breaks above like 77.90 area, which is the pre-market high, you can go long. Put your stops at 76.40. So right there alone, you're talking about a $1.50 risk on OSTK. A little bit of a range there, okay? But you got to give it some room. And OSTK is a stock that it moves pretty aggressively, right? So be careful with it. Sometimes it tends to get a little spready as well. So just be careful with OSTK. But I like the range that it's providing. A lot of our swing traders have actually been swinging OSTK, and they're waking up to some nice cash in this pre-market action. So I like it a lot. WKHS. This is a EV play. I like it. President Biden yesterday announced that he wants the federal government to have their like entire fleet, have like electric vehicles. WKHS is gapping up. They are still waiting on a bid, if I'm not mistaken, or a decision to be made from the post office, United States Post Office, on a bid that they've submitted for their electric vehicles. So I think it's gapping up because of that excitement and the anticipated news of them potentially winning the bid. So it's in play today. It's gapping up, pretty nicely. Right now it's selling off a little bit. So the way I see it is if it can reclaim, 2730 area, let's see if we can get a nice reversal on it and we can go long. And the target would be to break above the pre-market high, which is 27.99, or let's just say 28. So that's my idea with WKHS. I like this pullback because it may give us a better entry point on it. Another name that I really like is let me see here, Etsy. Why? Elon Musk tweeted something silly, like I guess some positive comments about Etsy, and you have the stock gapping up, almost 20 points. So this could potentially sell off, from profit taking because there's no, fundamental news behind it. So if it does break below 225, I'm going to look to short it. However, if it breaks above 228, let's just go long. Let's play the momentum on it. So that's the tight range that I see on it. It is a $3 range. So adjust your sizing appropriately so that you don't get stopped out and lose too much money if the stock doesn't play out to our favor. Some other names that I'm going to watch closely. I'm going to let Taj talk about BYND. But General Electric. General Electric. Wow, why can't I talk today? General Electric. GE. GE reported earnings. Really solid earnings. Gapping up to $12. So this is in play. It's a cheap name. So a lot of you guys can jump in on this name. I like it. It's flagging right now. It needs to hold the $11.95 range. If it does, look for it to break above $12.10. You're talking about a 15-cent risk on this trade for a potential move higher to the upside. If it breaks $11.95, we could potentially short it and put our stops at about $12.10, right? So depending on which way it goes, you can short it or go long and put your stops on one of those two levels that I've just identified. Keep your stops real tight on that one. Of course, last name I'll bring up before I pass it on to Taj, GameStop. GameStop right now in pre-market is testing the $86 level. If you guys remember yesterday, $86 was the support that it had in pre-market yesterday, and once it flushed $86, it traded down to $60 yesterday. So right now, once again, we're testing that $86 level. If GameStop trades higher than $90, it may have some more upside. We can just, follow the herd, go long. Be very, very careful with GameStop. I'm going to mention it again. Don't go crazy on your sides. Don't go throwing the kitchen sink at it. We can trade it. We can make some good money on it. But just be very careful. For full disclosure, I am still swinging put options on it. I have some puts that expire February 5th, and I have some puts, and I bought some more puts that expire April 16th. So I am swinging puts on GME. What goes up is going to come down, and GameStop is going to crash pretty soon. History has proven itself. Look at all the other names that have had crazy moves to the upside like GameStop and where they've come down after a couple weeks once the phase has and the party has ended, right? So we just don't know the exact timing of when the party will end, but it's going to end and that's why I'm swinging puts, because I know where this is going to go. It's going to come back down to 30, 20 bucks. Everyone knows it. So that's why I'm swinging those puts. So with that being said, there's a lot of other names that I haven't even mentioned that are going to be on my B list, but I'm sure Taj is going to bring them up. So Taj, let me pass it on to you, brother.
Yeah, man. So, a lot of names that Alex mentioned already. You can throw all of those names on the A list. And I'm actually going to be adding a few more to the list as well. One of which is going to be Apple. I think the recovery that a lot of these names, specifically in the tech industry, were able to have Apple, Microsoft, the S&P, looking at a daily chart of the S&P, is just wow. It's a huge bottoming tail bar, and Apple has just the same. So I like Apple long. If you can break that above around 143.55, you can throw your stops around 143.20, around a 30-40 cent risk off of Apple. And I think there's a good chance that if the market continues this rally, you're going to test that all-time high yesterday. And if it breaks the all-time high, you have a bull flag that it's now breaking out of. So Apple has a lot of potential if the market can follow through. So I'll be keeping that on my watch list. Of course, Beyond Meat. They just announced around 30 minutes ago that they're going to be teaming up with PepsiCo, to offer snacks and drinks, I believe.
Yep.
So that is huge. They're now tapping into one of the biggest distributors when it comes to soda products and different things of that nature. The snack industry as a whole. So partnering up with a company like PepsiCo is going to give them more exposure to the market. So, and I'm sure they're going to develop new products as well. So Beyond Meat yesterday had a huge day. Closed at 158.73, and now it's trading all the way up to almost $220 during the pre-market. That's an insane move. I was telling Alex and a few other people earlier that were in here. Look at Apple breaking out right now.
Yep.
Missed that move. So now Apple will have to wait for the intraday high break around 143.80.
Yep.
But Beyond Meat, this is a move. This is a stock that can move. I know it's something we haven't been trading lately because the liquidity hasn't quite been there. But now we're starting to see some volume pick up. Yesterday, Beyond Meat did 13 million, close to 13 million shares. It looks like today that's going to be probably around the same, if not more, with an excessive gap like this. There's going to be a lot of people trading it. It's going to be on a lot of people's radar.
Yeah.
And this is a stock that can really move. The 1-year high is at 197.50, so we've already clipped that. The all-time high is 239.71. So with the move that it's having, there's potential that it could do that again. It could test that level. So I'll be keeping a very close eye on it. It just broke out of a bull flag, of course. We missed the setup by 10 minutes here. Yep. So we'll probably have to wait for Beyond Meat to give us a better entry. I wouldn't chase this thing. This is a pretty big gap that it's happening. So, give it some time. Let it breathe out of the gates, and let's try to find a better entry from a risk-reward perspective. But that's definitely going to be, right at the top of my list, Beyond Meat.
Yeah.
Another name I want to keep an eye on is TLRY. TLRY has, I believe I saw some news on it. Was it a price target upgrade that they received?
It was.
Oh, yeah. France.
Yep.
They're getting in business with medical cannabis products experiments in France. That's what it was.
Yeah, the French National Agency for the Safety of Medicines and Health Products. So
Beyond Meat closed yesterday at $17. It did gap up to $19 a little earlier. Now we're pulled back about a point, so we're trading at $18. But TLRY, when it starts getting some momentum, it starts getting nice news. This is also a stock that could run. So what I like about TLRY is on the actual daily chart, it's testing yesterday's high. Well, it actually broke it during the pre-market hours, that 1830 level. And now we're starting to see it bounce off of its AMA. So I see this as a key area, a key support zone of maybe TLRY catching a bounce here back up to those highs of 2260. So really keep an eye on TLRY. If it can break back above, I'd say around 1830, say yesterday's high, throw your stops right around 1790. You're looking at about a 40-cent risk. And let's see if we can bounce back up to that 19 pre-market level and maybe that $20 price level. So this could be an easy 2-to-1 trade out of the gates as long as it has that momentum right as it starts to open up. Alex already went over it, but the spies are going to be also at the very top of my list. Look at the daily chart on the S&P 500.
Yes.
It had an extremely nasty sell-off yesterday where we couldn't even really find the news on it, what was going on, you know? But the entire market was selling off. Spies gave out its all-time highs, but then look what happened. By the time the market closed, it was actually above the opening price. So it was able to recover all of the losses it had and actually close green on the day. So what happened today? Gap up. Now we have that continuation. Now, if you actually look on the daily, we're breaking out of a bull flag. So again, very similar to Apple, S&P should have some continuation to the upside as long as that bull flag holds. So the way I would play it, right now, you can play it long around 380, 385, 45. Throw your stops at around 385, let's say 13. So you're looking at about a 30-cent risk with the potential reward of who knows. I mean, this could go up 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point. It all depends on how much momentum the market has. But S&P, Apple, a lot of these big names, very exciting trading into the all-time high because these names can move.
Right.
Another name I like is Virgin Galactic, Space. I know this was a name that was pretty exciting to trade yesterday. A lot of you played it long yesterday and made some good money. And then it also, just like every other stock in the stock market, just started to sell off insanely. It actually got halted at one point off of the bounce, off of the lows. However, look at the daily. It was able to recover all the losses that it had yesterday and still closed above that key level that we talked about all week, 36 bucks. That was a key level it needed to break out of. It needed to hold, and so far, it's doing well. We're now gapping up about $1.20, $1.30. We're trading $1 above yesterday's close. The high from yesterday is 38.87. So the way I see it, Space, if it can break out above 37.50, you can throw your stop at 37. And there's no resistance until 38.87. Now, I'm not saying it's going to hit that level pretty easily, but from a technical perspective, there is no resistance until 38.87. So it should be a fairly smooth move if the rally can hold.
Yep.
So I'm going to have that at the top of my list as well. I think there was one other name. Oh, Myrna. Myrna was the last name that I wanted to go over. It was a name we mentioned yesterday, and it actually had a very, very good day. We weren't able to trade it just because we were trading a lot of other names. But it had that bull flag breakout right out of the gate. So congratulations to whoever played that, if anybody did, because this thing went uncontested all the way up to 147.40 as it broke out above 139.19. So what do we have happening now? We have the stock close at the high yesterday, right at the high. It's pulling back about a point off of the close, but 1 point on Myrna is nothing. It's pretty much break even for the most part. You can actually look at the chart and see that it really hasn't moved. But from what I see, Myrna, if it can break above 147, which is actually a resistance point right here from the daily, there's really no resistance until around 158. So what I like about it is it broke out of this bull flag right off of the 8 of May. This is a fresh move off of the 8 of May. So I see continuation to the upside as long as this rally can hold. So I really like Myrna if it can break back above 147. I think that's the pre-market high. Yep. 147. You will have to give it a little room. You'll probably have to throw your stops around 146, 145. If you want to give it a little more room, you could go 145.50. So you're looking at about $1.50 a risk. However, the upside is huge. You know, if you break out above that 147, this thing could fly. Just be very cautious with Myrna options contracts because they can be spready and they move very, very quickly.
Very spready.
So it's a high risk, but also high reward. So always keep that in mind. And keep that in mind with all of these plays. The Teslas, GameStop is another one as well. So if you're limited with capital or you're limited with how much risk that you can take, same with Beyond Meat. That's going to be another one that'll be a little could be a little spready. Stick to the smaller name. Stick to TLRY. Stick to space. Apple is normally pretty cheap as well. Spies are another one. AMD is another one as well. So keep with the smaller names so you can keep your risk parameters consistent and not be outside of your normal risk parameters. With that being said, that's pretty much my list. I know Alex and I provided a lot of names to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
But hey, that's just the opportunity that we have today. So
Absolutely
pick about
right.
around 2 or 3 names to keep an eye on and wait for your opportunity.
Yeah, so with that being said, guys, for everyone on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. Trade safely. Today is not the day to be a millionaire, guys, so let's not throw the kitchen sink at one idea. Trade conservatively, manage your risk, and cut those losing trades real fast so that we can focus on the winners, all right? So with that being said, everyone on YouTube, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you all tomorrow.